Right now, we are less than 24 hours from Panthers great Luke Kuechly's enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Panthers kicked off the celebration with a win last night in the Hall of Fame game. And tonight, the 5 players going into the Hall of Fame gathered together in Canton, Ohio for a gold jacket dinner and celebration. It's a live event where each new enshrinee will get their coveted gold jacket. Then tomorrow, they'll become the newest members of football immortality. Let's take you now live to Canton. Enjoy the gold jacket presentation from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Their gold jacket. They are honored not only for their achievements, but for the way they left a indelible mark on the league. Tonight, we honor a legendary group of 5 NFL greats. The class of 2026 will join the illustrious ranks of all those whose contributions have shaped the game for 106 years. Quarterback, Drew Brees. Running back, Roger Craig. Wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. Linebacker, Luke Kuechly. Kicker, Adam Vinatieri. Welcome to the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival Enshrinees Gold Jacket Dinner. Presented by Hager.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival Gold Jacket Dinner presented by Hager, official maker of the gold jacket since 1978. Now, please welcome the President and CEO of the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce, Jeff Daffler.
Good evening, and on behalf of the 1,900 members of the Canton Regional Chamber, welcome. Tonight we have the privilege of welcoming 5 extraordinary men into football immortality. Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, and Adam Vinatieri. It is a remarkable class, and we are honored to share this moment with them, their families, and all of you. Canton has welcomed the football world for more than 6 decades. It is a tremendous privilege and a responsibility embraced each year by 2 organizations and people throughout our community. We're proud to present this dinner in partnership with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and we're grateful for the leadership of Hall President Jim Porter and his outstanding staff. Both organizations are fortunate to have dedicated boards of directors, and I'd like to recognize our board chairs now. Pro Football Hall of Fame Board Chair Frank Monaco, and our Canton Regional Chamber Board Chairman, Mark Wright. Thank you both for your leadership. I'm also deeply grateful to the Canton Regional Chamber staff whose dedication and long hours behind the scenes make moments like this possible. Working alongside them are many community volunteers who give their time, talent, and energy to extend Canton's welcome to visitors from across the country. They are the beating heart of this celebration, and we are deeply grateful to them. And isn't this environment spectacular? Over 100 technical experts have contributed to the production of tonight's event, and I want to give a special thanks to Joel Soloway and EventWorks 4D for their outstanding leadership and vision in bringing it all to life. We're also grateful to Hager, the presenting sponsor of tonight's dinner and a supporter of great communities throughout the country. Let's take a moment to learn more about that commitment.
When a student comes in and finds the perfect dress or the perfect suit and it just fits them like a glove, you can really tell that they're gonna really just be so much happier for the day. My name is Stephanie Vick. I'm the test coordinator for Molina High School. 4 years ago, I identified a need for students who couldn't afford formal wear here in this building, and I was able to remove that obstacle for them by making the prom closet available for all students. It's definitely grown into a much bigger closet than I'd ever expected. Over the years, we have not gotten that many donations for the boys. So it's been amazing this year because this year we were able to give the entire senior class of boys suits from Hager, and it's been such an impact for all of the boys to get suits to prom and for future use.
Clothing is a way for us to express ourselves. I know that our boys will definitely feel sharp and they'll feel better than they felt maybe ever.
I think this collaboration between Hager and Molina High School is definitely impactful because there's never really been suits in the prom closet, and now there's suits available for the seniors of this class.
I've seen the fellas walking around all day today. I can't tell you how many are in the bathrooms right now looking at their suits as we speak.
A suit to me is something that makes me feel confident. I feel like it makes others feel confident. This is actually one of my first times ever wearing a suit fully, and I'm definitely gonna remember this moment forever.
And finally, we extend our deepest thanks to all the sponsors whose support makes tonight possible. Please turn your attention to the screens as we recognize them now.
The 2026 Enshrinees Gold Jacket Dinner would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. Thank you to our gold sponsors: Certified Angus Beef, Employers Health, Fred Oliveri Construction, Genie, Hendrickson, Metalis, Sibylla Entertainment, Society Brands, Standard Printing. Thank you to our silver sponsors: Kimball, Novelli Chiropractic Clinic, PNC, Shower Group, Visit Canton. Thank you to our bronze sponsors: Marathon Petroleum, Carlson Property Holdings and Management, Children's Toy Fund, Diebold Nixdorf. Thank you to our event sponsors: Party Savvy, Citywide Facility Solutions, Powers Oil and Propane. Thank you to our event supporters: PPI Graphics, Nichols Bakery. Thank you to our 2026 major sponsors for their support of the Enshrinement Festival. The Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce proudly recognizes the following companies for their outstanding support of the 2026 Enshrinement Festival. Their generous $25,000 commitment as a top-tier sponsor demonstrates a deep investment in our community, our traditions, and our region's continued success. With a heartfelt appreciation, we thank Altman, Certified Angus Beef, Employers Health, U.S. Acute Care, Fred Oliveri Construction, Kimball, Marathon, the Maslin Plaque Company, Synchrony, Timken, Visit Canton, and Hager, presenting sponsor of the 2026 Enshrinees Gold Jacket Dinner. Since 1978, Hager Clothing has proudly crafted the gold jacket for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Tonight, each member of the 2026 class receives a gold jacket awarded by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Thank you to Hager, America's #1 selling dress pant brand, for their continued support of the official provider of the gold jackets since 1978.
Tonight's MC is an 8-time Sports Emmy nominee who was the first on-air talent added to NFL Network's roster in June 2003 and has hosted the Emmy-nominated NFL Game Day Morning on NFL Network the last 15 seasons. He is also currently the longest-serving host of the NFL Draft on television, now 23 years and counting. Same for the NFL Scouting Combine and the Super Bowl. In addition to all that, he hosts the Emmy-nominated The Rich Eisen Show from noon till 3 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio. Despite all that, he has remained quite humble, to the point that he would never write his own introductory copy. If he did, he would have changed all the mentions of Emmy nominations into Emmy wins and hoped you wouldn't notice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's Master of Ceremonies, Rich Eisen.
Thank you. Really. I know. I just love coming here to Canton, Ohio, and being welcomed by people who prove they can spell four-letter words. I can too, but the commissioner's sitting here and I'm trying to keep it classy. But really, if you want to talk about what you want to talk about, it's a good thing I'm not hosting the jacket dinner for the Basketball Hall of Fame tonight. Wouldn't you say, Michigan fans who are in the building? Are you saying Luke already? Because I heard that before. They're actually saying boo. Wow, go figure that. At any rate, honestly, if you want to talk Big Ten schools, we can talk Purdue right here in front of me. Because Purdue is about to get another Pro Football Hall of Famer into these hallowed halls. And just, again, just want to speak on a personal note here. NFL Network was born in 2003, well after Roger Craig won his championships and did what he did on the field for the 49ers, earning him a much-deserved enshrinement here this weekend. But the first Super Bowl NFL Network ever covered was a Super Bowl that finished with a game-winning field goal by Adam Vinatieri. That happened. That happened, and unlike that night, I believe tonight's wardrobe will function properly for you. That's what it's all about here tonight. And that night, a few years later, we covered another Super Bowl in Florida, and I remember the Benson family getting on the field that night with their umbrellas and about what seemed like 90,000 people following them, celebrating a championship won by Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. And their head coach, Sean Payton, came on our set after that game, and he was so psyched. Marshall Faulk was there, and he knows Marshall from back in the day, from his San Diego days and San Diego State days, and he was so psyched. He slapped my hand so hard I did not feel my hand the entire interview. It was a heck of a night. And years later, we did cover another Super Bowl in the state of Florida with 2-some-odd minutes to go, 3-some-odd minutes to go. The NFL Network crew walks on the field and watches Larry Fitzgerald running straight down the field for a touchdown right in front of us, which was a remarkable night for Larry and the Cardinals family. I know the final score wasn't what you wanted, but it was a night in which Larry showed his craft. And then we covered Super Bowl 50, and we saw Luke Kuechly do what he was doing for the Carolina Panthers that night. And again, it's just something that I'm so honored to be here tonight for a culmination of 5 remarkable careers. And you could hear the fans here are all jacked up for this evening. And you also, fans who are here, might not know, but get ready, because later on, before the jackets are given out, a record number, 120+ gold jackets are here to return tonight. after we saw Hall of Fame Game 1 with no time left on the clock last night to signify football is back. Football's back, and that's the beauty of this event this night as you watch 5 enshrinees get their first tangible item to let them know they are football immortal. A bus tomorrow, a ring later on this fall during the playing season. And all of us here to celebrate with this superb football town and county of Stark County, Ohio, the Canton-Akron area filled with thousands of volunteers who work tirelessly to make sure a night like tonight and a weekend like tonight go off without a hitch. And I'd love to give one more round of applause for those folks here. Including the guy who's looking after me, a retired school teacher who lives here in Canton, Ohio. I can never forget his name because his name is Rod Stewart, who's awesome, representing the awesome folks of this town. So it's time to get started this evening. In addition to celebrating this Canton class of 2026, tonight we're also honoring 3 individuals for their outstanding contributions to professional football, starting with the Bill Nunn Memorial Award, which is given by the Professional Football Writers of America to a reporter who's made a long and distinguished contribution to professional football. The award is named for Nunn, who prior to his Hall of Fame scouting career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know that's not much of an applause line in Ohio, but the Steelers is where he worked. And then he also worked for 22 years at the Pittsburgh Courier, one of the most influential black publications in the United States. So let's start off tonight by learning a little bit more about this year's winner, the 58th Nunn Award honoree, Barry Wilner.
Earning the trust of readers is an essential part of any writer's job. And for 46 years, Barry Wilner kept that trust while simultaneously earning the respect of his peers.
Barry Wilner took great pride at the Associated Press for being fast, accurate, and informative.
Wilner began full-time with the AP in 1976 and started covering the National Football League as the New York Jets beat writer in 1985. By '88, he'd add national duties, including league-wide news and events.
Thousands of newspapers relied on Barry Wilner's coverage of these issues. They didn't have anybody to send to these out-of-town events. And so Barry Wilner was the voice of the sporting masses, and he did it in such a professional manner, no agenda, and just what he thought people would be interested in.
Barry Wilner kind of encapsulates what you want out of a pro football writer, out of a sports journalist, in any sport. He does the job right. He does the job well. He's an excellent writer. He's an excellent reporter.
He is an old school journalist in the very best sense of that phrase. He double-checked reporting. He maintained sources. He kept relationships going. He was unfailingly fair and accurate. He tried so hard to be balanced in his reporting and to let people speak for themselves.
He gets the people he covers to trust him because he is a trustworthy person. And it's a really important characteristic to have as a journalist, when you get the subjects that you're writing about to trust you and to feel comfortable with you. You're always going to get a better story out of it.
Barry loves football, all of football. He loves the players, he loves the coaches, he loves to talk to the owners, he loves talking about the rules, he loves talking about football history, he loved talking about labor negotiations. He wrote books about it, he wrote stories about it, he devoted so much time to putting together the AP All-Pro team and gathering the votes. He loved everything that went into the NFL.
I mean, that is what this award is all about, is contribution to professional football. And Barry's contributions are such that the way he writes stories, what he chooses to write, to amplify, what he explains in his stories, benefits the reader, the fan, and they're able to see pro football from, maybe a perspective that they didn't expect or didn't realize or didn't know before they read some of Barry's stories.
Wilner covered 35 Super Bowls and oversaw voting for the AP's major NFL postseason honors, as well as the ballots for the AP All-Pro selections. He's also served as a trusted member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee since 2014.
I reserve a phrase for people I truly respect, and I don't use it very often, but it's called a pro's pro. And to me, Barry Wilner is the quintessential pro's pro.
Well, it is time for the Hall of Fame moment for the Bill Nunn Award winner, the Pros Pro himself, Barry Wilner.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Ira and Bob and Judy for the warm and loving praise, and I didn't even recognize myself after what they were saying. In my 46 years covering sports for the Associated Press, I traveled around the world, went to Olympics, World Series, World Cups, Stanley Cup Finals, many other major events. Yet each year, since I began my association with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the assignment I most looked forward to was this weekend right here in Canton, Ohio. Tonight, it's beyond special that I've been honored by the Pro Football Writers of America, my peers, with the Bill Nunn Memorial Award. The PFWA is a superb organization that not only is a bastion of sports journalism, but also offers scholarships to budding writers and financially helps members facing crises. It's a wonderful organization. Sitting at the dais here with the commissioner makes me recall how we pretty much began our football careers together. I even wrote some stuff about Roger when he was playing football. It's also fair to say we took slightly different paths as we moved along. I certainly owe much of the success I've had to the cooperation and the help of Roger and so many others at the league. Joe Brown, one of my mentors, who has been honored by the Hall in the past. Pete Abitanti, who I know is here. Michael Signora, Peter O'Reilly, Brian McCarthy, Troy Vincent, Jeff Miller, Jordan White, and Morgan Driassi. Their help has been unmeasurable through the years. Covering America's most popular league is a major challenge, and that was aided by the 32 staffs of the teams. The trust factor in such relationships is paramount, and I believe it was never violated in my 37 years on the beat. Working for the AP, which for decades was the world's largest news-gathering organization, always was challenging because we served journalism outlets across the globe. So we always were on deadline. Yes, the AP had a 24/7 news cycle before the internet and social media ever came along, if you can imagine that. My boss at the AP for 20 years was the late Terry Taylor. She was the most powerful woman in sports journalism. She provided myself and my fellow NFL writers the freedom, time, and that word again, the trust, to report, interview, and investigate. Under her guidance, those 2 decades with the golden age of NFL coverage for the AP. So many outstanding people were part of that golden age, and unfortunately, I'm sure I'm going to miss some and not mention them. But I wouldn't be here without the help of quite a few people I must mention. Nancy Armour, John Affleck, Mary Byrne, Dave Goldberg, who Roger knew very well and was a previous Bill Nunn Award recipient, Tim Dahlberg, Jim Litke, Rich Rosenblatt, who is here tonight, surprised me and flew in from Colorado. I had no idea he was coming. And my hand-picked legion of pro football writers, Dennis Waszak, Simi Butar, Rob Motti, who is here tonight, representing the AP. Thank you, Rob, wherever you are. Teresa Walker, Josh Duval, Arnie Stapleton, Dave Campbell, Mark Long, and Skylar Dixon. To me, they are Hall of Fame writers. Naturally, standing here tonight, I'm even further in awe of the aura of the Hall of Fame. From Joe Horrigan, the true historian of our sport, to David Baker, to Rich DeRoziers, to Pete Fearley, to Chris Schilling, to Jim Porter here at the dais, thanks and keep up the great work. You do great work. Seated at 2 tables in this auditorium are my family members. I would hope that they could stand, they're in the corner over there, and just soak in what I'm soaking in tonight. My daughters, Nicole, Jamie, and Trisha, my son, Evan, their spouses, Dan, Eric, Anthony, and Casey, and my 3 grandchildren, Will, Juliana, and Zoe. They are and always have been my backbone and my inspiration. My late wife, Helene, had to deal with all of my travel, my working nights and weekends. Thankfully, she was a fan of sports and of big parties. Helene would have loved tonight. Thank you.
We now move on to the Pete Rozelle Award, which is annually given in recognition of longtime exceptional contributions to radio and television in professional football. The award is named for the late longtime NFL commissioner and Commissioner Goodell's predecessor, once removed, and Pete Rozelle, who led the league from 1960 to 1989. The name Sandy Grossman may be familiar to football fans because it was, by the way, if you're going to get anybody to say your name, having Pat Summerall say your name in front of the largest audiences Sunday after Sunday after Sunday from multiple networks, that's not shabby. He would say it at the end of the broadcast, probably about a minute or two after telling you 60 Minutes is next, except on the West Coast, when it was on CBS. He's one of the greats of all time doing what he did. Let's learn more about Sandy Grossman.
No team shows up on Sunday without preparing for the task ahead.
Of course, we want to watch Rice and whether they roll up to him or they double him. Now, let's say they came out of the...
Countless hours of film sessions and game planning go into making a 60-minute NFL game become a 3-hour entertainment event broadcast to fans around the world. The shot caller for this team isn't a head coach or even someone who's on the field. It's the television director. A career spanning across 6 decades with CBS and Fox, no one did it better than Sandy Grossman. Inside the production truck, Grossman became one part quarterback, seeing his options and calling plays, and one part middle linebacker, watching the offense and predicting where the ball was headed.
You look at it and you'd wonder how in the heck can a guy do that? Watch all those cameras, direct all those cameras, choose this picture, then cut to that picture, then go to another picture, and make it all make sense. I have no idea how he does it.
In 1981, future Hall of Famer John Madden joined the team of Grossman, producer Bob Stenner, and player-turned-broadcaster Pat Summerall, creating what would become an iconic foursome.
I don't think I've ever worked with a director who has been so interested in what goes on the air and the reasons why John Madden says what he says or I say what I say.
Grossman's shot choices allowed for Madden to further explain the game to the viewers through his signature use of the telestrator.
I felt for years that he's the best football director that there is.
That opinion was shared by many in the industry and was why Grossman was trusted with some of sports television's biggest prizes: 18 NBA Finals, 5 multiple Olympic game opening and closing ceremonies, and 10 Super Bowls.
Only one director gets a chance to do that every year. And to be selected for it and to be doing my 7th one is a tremendous honor.
Grossman retired in 2012, leaving an impact on sports television and forever changing how NFL fans enjoy the game.
You want to walk out of the truck and you want to think to yourself that I did the best job I could. I didn't cheat the people at home. I gave them everything they wanted and maybe gave them some things they didn't even know they wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen, to accept the award on Sandy's behalf as the Pete Rozelle Award winner, his son, Dean Grossman.
First, let me say thank you. Thank you to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, to all that voted, Commissioner Roger Goodell, all the esteemed guests, and thank you to the Hall of Fame class of 2026. Our dad, Sandy Grossman, would be deeply honored and humbled to know that the work he devoted his life to is being recognized tonight. To become the first broadcast director to ever receive the Pete Rozelle Award is the highest honor imaginable. On behalf of our entire family, we thank you. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, our dad dreamed of becoming a sports broadcaster. He arrived at the University of Alabama knowing no one, but knew they had a great school of communications. After calling his first game, his professor looked at him and said, "Sandy, after listening to your voice, I think you'd be better if you went into production." Our father thought about it, swallowed hard, and agreed. In that moment, his dream didn't end. It simply changed direction. It was that moment and that professor which changed his life forever. For 5 decades, Sandy Grossman brought the most iconic moments in NFL history into the homes of millions of fans. While the careers of so many of you in this room played out in front of the cameras, our dad was responsible for capturing your greatest triumphs, your heartbreaks, and the plays that became part of NFL history. But our dad didn't just televise football, he changed the way the world saw it. Whether it was the sky cam, wider pre-snap angles, isolation cameras dedicated to specific players, he changed how football was presented on television. He believed football was as much about people as it was about plays. He wanted to capture the reactions, the joy, the frustration, the exhaustion, the determination. As many of his colleagues have said, Sandy Grossman can make a bead of sweat tell a story. Our dad knew not only where to point a camera, but how to tell the story behind the game, allowing fans to better understand it, feel its emotion, and experience it on a deeper level. In doing so, he forever changed how generations of fans experienced it. Above all, our dad loved directing the biggest game in the world, the Super Bowl, of which he sat in the helm for 10 of them, more than anyone in history, and a record which likely will never be matched. His first Super Bowl 10, when Terry Bradshaw threw a 64-yard touchdown pass to Lynn Swann, that game, that play, was directed by Sandy Grossman. Super Bowl 21, when Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants gave Bill Parcells a Gatorade bath, that game, that moment, was too directed by Sandy Grossman. And then there was Super Bowl 36, when one of this year's inductees, Adam Vinatieri, kicked the game-winning 48-yard field goal in the last seconds to beat the St. Louis Rams in an upset and begin a dynasty. That, too, was directed by Sandy Grossman. Those were just 3 moments among the 10 Super Bowls where our dad sat in the director's chair, not simply recording history, but helping millions of people experience it. Unlike most directors, he called every camera shot and every replay himself. He often said that his goal was to give the fans 90% of they wanted to see and 10% of things they never thought they wanted to see. He studied the game and watched film endlessly alongside John Madden, Pat Summerall, Bob Stenner, learning to anticipate plays before they happen. That preparation, combined with remarkable instincts, allowed him to capture the defining moments of football like very few others could. As John Madden said, Sandy had a plan for everything and could just make magic. He was a true quarterback of our broadcast team. That preparation and those instincts didn't just capture football history, they helped define how generations of fans watched the game. The game meant everything to him, but it was never just about football. It was about the people, the friendships he built throughout his career, and that's what made every season so special. And then there was his crew. To every member of his crews throughout the years, thank you. Your talent and dedication helped make his remarkable career possible. But as proud as we are of the director, we're even prouder of the husband, the dad, the grandfather, and the friend that he was. He was a role model, a mentor to so many, and to us, he was our best friend. Before every game, no matter what he did, he called the house. He wanted to check on others, on his family, because that is what truly meant the most to him. It could have been the biggest game of his career, but without fail, every week, the call came just moments before kickoff. So to that man, the director, the husband, the dad, the grandfather, I would like to raise a glass, which I don't have, but I'd like to raise a glass. Thank you. To every fan who watched one of his telecasts, thank you. His goal was to always bring you the best seat in the house, and it's because of all of you that he is being recognized tonight. Sundays, Thanksgiving, we may never have had him home to share it with our family, but we knew he was on those days, part of all of yours. He loved what he did. He loved the National Football League. For him, it was never just a job. It was a passion. Our dad never believed the camera was there to show football. He believed they were there to tell the story of the people who played the game. Tonight, his story becomes part of football history as well. So a toast to our Father in heaven. Dad, this is for you. Thank you.
Note to anybody else giving a speech, I'm there to hand you a glass of wine if you need at any point in time. Always there for that. Let's move on to the final award to be given out tonight. The Pro Football Hall of Fame's Ralph Hay Pioneer Award is presented periodically to individuals who have made significant and innovative contributions to the game. And we're honored tonight to give the Ralph Hay Pioneer Award to Seymour Seawoff.
4 attempts to gain 10 yards, striving for 6 points, with a bonus try for 1 or 2 more. At its core, football is a game built on numbers. And perhaps nobody understood the importance of numbers when it came to analyzing the players, teams, and situational breakdowns more than Seymour Seawoff.
You can't have a conversation about pro football where you're not talking about cumulative statistics, daily statistics, annual statistics, career rushing records, career passing records. It's all because of Seymour that we have an interest and we have the ability to find these numbers. His skills were like no one else's.
I was a college intern at the NFL headquarters when I first met Seymour. One day I was in a meeting with Jim Kessel, the league's executive director, when this burst of wind came in, wearing a fedora and a raincoat. I've got to change some of John Unitas' stats from last Sunday's game, Seymour said. Kessler said, go ahead and do it, but make sure you're right. Seymour started to explain, and Kessler said, hey, I said do it, leave us alone, we're busy. Later in the day, I thought I'd score some points with Kessler, and I said, Mr. K, how do you put up with Seymour? Put up with him? Is that what you said, put up with him? I put up with him because he's the best at what he does. As usual, Kessler was right. I worked 50 more years alongside Seymour and his Alliance colleagues, and they helped make the NFL America's favorite sport. God bless Seymour Seawolf.
While many statistical categories were pretty straightforward, one has always been a bit of a head-scratcher, as quarterbacks Kirk Cousins and Hall of Famer Peyton Manning can testify.
Pete Rozelle wanted impressive quarterback statistics. So in 1973, Seymour Seawolf and Don Smith, who was an executive with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they got together and they took completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdown percentage, and interception percentage.
Those four,
they put it into a statistical blender, and out came the passer rating.
What made them pick those four?
Because they thought those were the four categories that most reflected the passing of the quarterback. And the beauty of those categories is they go all the way back to the days of Sammy Baugh, and we have their numbers. So we're able to compare his statistics to Eli Manning's or yours or Peyton's.
Yeah. He was a historian of numbers, and numbers are history. Fan interest in the industry of sport can thank Seymour Seawolf. Fantasy football wouldn't be here if it weren't for Seymour Seawolf. These are the kinds of things that evolved from his own development of numbers in the game.
While Seawolf's legacy was built on quantitative data, his contributions to the game are immeasurable.
There is no one more deserving of the Ralph Hay Pioneer Award than Seymour Seawolf.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Seymour's grandson, Joe Gilston, to accept the Ralph Hay Pioneer Award on Seymour's behalf.
Thank you. Seeing those wonderful images reminds me just how fortunate I was to know Seymour, not simply as a pioneer, but as my grandfather. My name is Joe Gilston, and I'm the Seymour Seawolf's grandson and the current president and owner of the Elias Sports Bureau. It's an incredible honor to accept the Ralph Hay Pioneer Award on his behalf. Now, I have to admit something. Seymour hated award ceremonies. Whenever someone would start giving a long acceptance speech, he'd lean over and say, just say thanks. Well, I'm going to do a little bit more than that tonight, because tonight isn't just about accepting an award. It's about recognizing a man whose work fundamentally changed professional football, how professional football records its history. Seymour believed that facts matter, that history matters, that every statistic represents a real achievement by a real player, and if you're entrusted with preserving those achievements, there's no room for shortcuts. Like so many of his generation, Seymour's life was shaped by extraordinary circumstances. Born during the Great Depression, he developed a love for numbers and mathematics. That passion eventually led him to St. John's University, where he studied accounting before serving in World War II, before serving in the U.S. Army during World War II. He was seriously wounded in combat, but received a Purple Heart for his bravery. Seymour's plan was to begin a career in accounting, but an unexpected opportunity changed the course of his life. In 1952, after working as an intern at Elias, Seymour was given the opportunity to purchase the company, and dedicated the rest of his life to transforming a small baseball statistics operation into one of the most trusted institutions in sports. Then, in 1961, the National Football League entrusted the Elias Sports Bureau with the responsibility it still holds today, serving as the league's official statistician. At the time, the NFL statistical record was remarkably limited. Official statistics were tracked by hand, records were maintained on index cards, and there was no consistent system for verifying every play or preserving the league's history. Seymour believed the game deserved better. His first priority was to build a process the league could trust. Working alongside the NFL, he developed a weekly system for reviewing every game, ensuring that every yard, every touchdown, and every record was accurate before it became part of the league's official history. More than 60 years later, that process remains the foundation of NFL statistical verification. But Seymour wasn't finished. He believed you couldn't build the future on an uncertain past. So he turned his attention to the league's history, painstakingly reviewing decades of box scores, score sheets, and player records, until the NFL had, for the first time, a complete and trusted historical record. Only then the game could truly evolve. Seymour helped develop many of statistics fans now take for granted, including sacks, passer rating, and game-winning drives. Seymour also established a new way of creating subtotals of statistics that illuminate the micro stories hidden within a player's career that we call splits. He gave coaches, broadcasters, writers, and fans entirely new ways to understand the game. Everyone in this room has relied on his work. Every record book, every broadcast, every Hall of Fame discussion, every time someone asks, has this ever happened before, is built on the foundation Seymour helped create. Those answers are possible because Seymour spent his life making sure the history was accurate, consistent, and trusted. He didn't simply preserve football history. He built the foundation that allows football history to be written. That was his life's work. He believed every player deserved to have his accomplishments recorded correctly, not just for the Sunday newspaper, but for generations to come. Seymour used to talk about the romance of numbers. He believed statistics weren't simply numbers. They were the threads that connected generations of players and fans. They allowed today's stars to stand on the shoulders of yesterday's legends. They ensured greatness would never be forgotten. Statistics are the language of sports. The Ralph Hay Pioneer Award recognizes those whose innovations changed professional football. My grandfather never scored a touchdown. He never coached a game. He never hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. But for nearly 70 years, Seymour dedicated his life to preserving the accomplishments of the people who built this game. Every record, every milestone, every legacy honored in this hall begins with a history someone had to protect. That was Seymour's mission, and it became the mission of the Elias Sports Bureau, a commitment carried forward by every researcher, statistician, engineer, and colleague who has ever been part of this company. Tonight, it is a profound honor to see the Pro Football Hall of Fame recognize a man who spent his life making sure football's greatest stories would never be forgotten. On behalf of my family, everyone at the Elias Sports Bureau, past and present, thank you to the Pro Football Hall of Fame for this extraordinary honor. Thank you to Joel Bussert and Pete Abatanti for nominating Seymour. It's one we'll cherish forever. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations to the Seawolf family. Let me give you a roadmap how the rest of the night's going to work, okay? We're going to give out some jackets. Before that, we're going to introduce some Hall of Famers who are returning. In between that, we're going to have a couple of brief performances, musical and spoken word. You here tonight will have a chance to win something yourself, a very nice prize to be given out. It will involve the booklets that are in front of you, page 3. At one point, we'll ask you to page 3. But don't worry, I'll help you out for those who went to Ohio State. That's between 2 and 4. It goes 2, 3, then 4. Just want to see if everybody's there. But for the moment, it's the way I'm going to bring you up, Jim. It's now our pleasure to hear from a man who, just by speaking with him for even 5 seconds, you know he is deeply committed to the mission of the Hall of Fame and its 387 members. Please welcome President of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Jim Porter.
Congratulations once again to all the award winners. Well deserved, and you did an amazing job tonight on your speeches, so thank you. You know, this week has been an incredible week, and I've heard people say how the Hall has made progress over the last couple of years. Progress that we are very proud of, but not possible without the contributions of many. And I want to start with my beautiful wife, Sarah, and my girls, Caitlin, Bailey, Emma, and Reagan. This job is a huge honor to have. It comes with huge responsibilities and incredibly busy schedules. It has become my whole family's job, embraced by each of you. I appreciate the sacrifices you have all made, and I love you all. Commissioner Roger Goodell, your support, leadership, and mentoring has been incredible for me, and I sincerely appreciate you and thank you. I want to thank Peter O'Reilly from the NFL. You too have had an incredible impact on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And please do not take your contributions lightly. We certainly do not. Thank you, Peter. Tracy Perlman, I'm not going to forget you either. Thank you for all you do for the Hall of Famers, and the legends of this great league. To the NFL team as a whole, led by Roger, of course, please know that myself, our board, this entire community, and football fans everywhere are grateful to each of you. Thank you. Under the leadership of our recent past chairs, Randy Hunt, Dennis Nash, and Ed Roth, and our current chairman, Frank Monaco, our board has been tremendously supportive and actively involved as we have grown over the past several years. It's an honor to be named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame board, but with that honor comes huge responsibility, something none of you have ever taken lightly, and our success is because of your support, and we thank each of you very much. Many members of our National Advisory Board are with us this weekend too, so I want to thank them as well for what you have done for the Hall. Our National Advisory Board is led by Greg Brown, CEO of Motorola Solutions. 2 years ago, I asked Greg to join the advisory board, and within 9 seconds, he accepted. Then earlier this year, I asked him to be the first chairman of our National Advisory Board, and he beat his old record and accepted in about 3 seconds. I asked him why one of the most successful businessmen in the world, the 2026 National CEO of the Year, the man who has transformed Motorola into one of the largest, most successful companies in the entire world, and certainly one of the busiest individuals on earth, I asked him why he was so eager to help, and his simple response was, "Are you kidding me? It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame." That is the kind of respect that the Hall gets throughout this world. And why do we get that respect? Well, that's the easy answer. It's because of the, after tonight, 387 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame who wear gold jackets. And with us here tonight to celebrate, we have a record number of 120 returning Hall of Famers, the 5 that are going in, which makes 125 Hall of Famers here tonight. We also have 40 deceased Hall of Famers who are being represented by their beautiful wives that are here in town with us too, and thank you so much for being here. And another 25 Hall of Famers who are being represented by other family members. In total, we have representation, which is another record, of 185 of the 387 Pro Football Hall of Famers here in Canton. This only happens in Canton, Ohio, and Mr. Mayor, thank you for all you do for the city of Canton and allowing this to happen. So thank you to the staff at the Canton Regional Chamber, led by Jeff Dappler. Many do not know this, but the parade, the Balloon Fest, this dinner, the fashion show, and the tailgate luncheon are all are put on by the Chamber. Thank you for your team and what you do for our community. And lastly, thank you to the wonderful teammates at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's truly an honor to work beside each one of you, and your contributions make a difference every single day. I will end with a quick story I told last year when I first got this job. Within the first week, members of the Hall of Fame Advisory Board, led by Dan Fouts, mentioned to me that they do not particularly like the first line of the Hall's mission statement. That line says, "Honor the heroes of the game." Dan and others said, "We are not heroes. Heroes heal us, they teach us, they keep us safe in communities." So we changed that first line to honor the greatest of the game. We did that to honor the true American heroes, but it does not seem enough. So last year we asked those true heroes here in attendance, as defined by the Hall of Famers themselves, to please stand to be recognized, and we will continue that new tradition tonight. Would the following individuals please stand and remain standing until we are through and can appropriately thank you as a group? If you are a teacher or a coach, please stand. If you are a veteran, please stand. If you are a member of the safety forces, police, fire, and paramedics, please stand. If you are an active member of the military, please stand. If you are a nurse, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you our community and national heroes. Lastly, thank you all for being here tonight, honoring the Hall of Famers and celebrating the return of another NFL season, which got a heck of a start last night. Yes. Enjoy your evening. And now it is my honor. We're talking about people who have impact on communities. Well, on the game of football, the impact that Roger Goodell has been incredible. But you look at what these organizations do in each of our cities and each of our states, this game has a lot of values, and they carry those values out into our communities. And the leader of all of that is Canton's very good friend, and I'm honored to introduce him, Mr. Roger Goodell.
Luke, are you here? Luke, is that? Okay. I'm used to it, Luke. It's okay. Thank you, Jim, for your leadership and your friendship. Without your leadership, the NFL would not be as good as it is, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame would not be as important as it is. This community would not be what it is today. So thank you very much for what you do. We are incredibly proud of our relationship with Canton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This partnership has been something that is, I think, raised the game of both of us. This is our 107th season, and it starts every year right here in Canton, Ohio. And the weekend wouldn't be possible without the Hall of Fame community, the workers, the volunteers, the city of Canton, and the entire region come together like no one else to celebrate the best of the best. Thank you. Yep. And what a new class we have. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history. The featured back in Bill Walsh's revolutionary West Coast offense. All-world receiver and an even better human being. The youngest inductee since Gale Sayers. And a kicker so clutch that no moment could faze him. 5 legends, 38 Pro Bowls, 8 Super Bowl victories, and 1 dream realized. I also want to recognize some very special award winners that I truly admire and respect. Barry Wilner, the longtime NFL writer at the Associated Press. The late Sandy Grossman, the powerhouse producer behind Madden and Summerall. And the late Seymour Seewoff, who led the Elias Sports Bureau for nearly 70 years, pioneering the data and statistics that help promote our game today. Each of you have made the NFL better and deserve this honor. Thank you. So what makes a Hall of Famer? Larry Fitzgerald, Dad, a namesake who we lost in June, once put it this way. It's always been about team and winning and being a leader, not a follower. That leadership is a hallmark of every gold jacket. It's what separates the good from the great. A record 120 of you returned to Canton this weekend to celebrate and welcome the 5 men joining the greatest fraternity in the world. Enjoy the celebration. Congratulations to Canton and the class of 2026. enjoy the 2026 NFL season. Thank you.
Okay, many of you don't see what I'm seeing, which is a bunch of gold jackets just jammed in that tunnel, and we're going to bring them out shortly. But before we do, let's all take a moment and pay tribute to the NFL legends who have left us this year, including 4 Hall of Famers. Hopefully this just reminds all of us about the fragility of life and to live each moment and soak it in and live in the moment. And we're about to have a moment collectively here in downtown Canton, because it's time to bring back all of the Hall of Famers kind enough, well enough to come back and be here, to be where they call home, and from where they are forever immortal. And it means so much to all of us that these returning Hall of Famers, 120 of them, a record, are here with us tonight. And it's time to bring them all out to form the gauntlet. That's right. And one of those greats introducing his fellow Hall of Famers tonight as they form the gauntlet this evening. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 1993, Dan Fouts.
No, please stay seated. Please stay seated. This is a great honor to be able to stand on this stage and bring out my brethren. It's an honor to be in Canton, OH. And it's even more fun to introduce the class of 2026 to the greatest football players of all time. And finally, Rich, there's a guy back here that said, let's get this party started. And he happens to be one of the great Buckeyes of all time. All he did was catch passes and catch touchdown passes. Chris Carter. Perfect. How about a 6-time NFL Executive of the Year, Bill Polian? And don't we love the ramp? And we have the owner of a 5-time Super Bowl champion, San Francisco 49ers, Eddie DeBartolo Jr. Great to be here. Well, he couldn't have done it without the next guy. 3-time Super Bowl champion, quarterback Joe Montana. Yeah, well, whatever you want to do. A member of the 2010 All-Decades team, the great defensive end Julius Peppers. And a member of the 2000 All-Decade Team, offensive lineman Steve Hutchinson. Two-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, Cliff Harris. You made it. You bet you did. 2000 All-Decades Team, another great offensive lineman, Alan Faneca. Good to see you, man. How about a head coach of the Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers, Bill Cowher? Super Bowl VIII MVP, the great running back from Syracuse and the Miami Dolphins, Larry Zonka. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. And how about his teammate, the great wide receiver, number 42, Paul Warfield. Great to see you, buddy. Super Bowl champion from the Kansas City Chiefs, linebacker number 78, Bobby Bell. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame 43 years ago, and he's been here every year. 1985 Defensive Player of the Year, who happened to have separated my shoulder one afternoon, the great linebacker from the New England Patriots, Andre Tippett. We've got the first pure place kicker to enter the Hall of Fame from the Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, and everywhere else, Jan Stenerud. And a member of the Buffalo Bills Electric Company, blocking for the Juice, lineman Joe DeLamielleure. There you go, Joe. Great to be here. This man had 40 career interceptions as a cornerback for the St. Louis Cardinals, Roger Worley. Take a bow. This man was an all-decade team from the 80s and the 90s. And what a hitter he was. 49er and Raider great, Ronnie Lott. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, brother. And Super Bowl winning running back from the University of Pittsburgh, number 33 in the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Dorsett. Super Bowl champion from the Rams, offensive tackle Orlando Pace. Hey, Orlando, not a lot of Wolverines here, huh?
Not at all, not this year, for sure.
And this guy was a 9-time MVP of the Bengals, All-Pro Anthony Munoz. This man with the Los Angeles Rams was elected to the Pro Bowl 11 times. Offensive guard Tom Mack.
Great. Good to see you, Tom. I think I go left. All right.
How about a member of the Steel Curtain, defensive back, safety, Donnie Shell from the Steelers. And from the 1970s All-Decade team, the great wide receiver for the Eagles, Harold Carmichael. This man played for the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl team with 58 career interceptions, the great corner Emmett Thomas. How about a 6-time All-Pro center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dermontti Dawson. The 1980s All-Decade team from the Chicago Bears, offensive tackle Jimbo Covert. Our next guy is one of those kickers, and he played more games in the NFL than anybody else, Morton Anderson. Hey. Three-time AFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, my classmate from 1993, the great guard for the Dolphins, Larry Little.
Right or left? Whatever you want.
I played against this guy in high school. I played against him in college, and with the pros, the great wide receiver for the Steelers, Lynn Swann. He won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was the first black middle linebacker in NFL history, the great number 63, Willie Lanier. Great today, man. From the St. Louis Rams, that greatest show on turf, wide receiver Isaac Bruce. This guy was an offensive lineman, and he played 20 years with the Rams. Jackie Slater. How about this one? This man was the first offensive lineman picked #1 in the history of the NFL from the Vikings and USC, Ron Yeri. Great to see you. We have so many greats. This man was 1985's NFL Man of the Year. From the Dolphins, center Dwight Stevenson. Now this guy was MVP of Super Bowl 17, the running back for the Washington Redskins that afternoon, the great John Riggins. Whatever you want. He wanted to know which way to go. I'm going to tell him which way to go. The Buffalo Bills all-time leading receiver in yards and touchdowns, number 83, wide receiver, Andre Reed. Good to see you. Another Super Bowl champion for the Oakland Raiders, number 87, the great tight end, Dave Casper. A member of the 1980s All-Decade Team from the Chicago Bears, the Danimal, Dan Hampton. This wide receiver set records for the Raiders in 4 categories. The great receiver from Notre Dame, Tim Brown. And we got another one of those NFL Man of the Year deals. Great wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks, Steve Largent. And my favorite Hall of Famer, played with him for a lot of years. He played 18 years in the NFL. When he retired, he had more catches and more yards than anybody. Number 18, Charlie Joyner. Oh, I forgot to say, this was also one of my favorite teammates. A member of the... They got me, didn't they? Oh, it's my tight end, Kellen Winslow. Boom. A member of the last year's class of 2025, the great sacker, Jared Allen. This man played 14 seasons for the San Francisco 49ers as a defensive tackle. Give it up for Bryant Young. Tampa Bay Buccaneer and Super Bowl champion, safety, number 47, John Lynch. This man had 12 interceptions that he took all the way back to the end zone. The great defensive back, Rod Woodson.
Thanks for being here.
Now this defensive back is the first guy to have 20 sacks and 20 interceptions. Rondé Barber. How about going to the Pro Bowl 14 consecutive years? That's what this big guy did. This is Bruce Matthews. This man led the Bills to 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, and he's a four-time cancer survivor, quarterback, Jim Kelly. '80s all-decade team, offensive guard, Mike Munchak. Four-time Super Bowl champ with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to stand way over here because you know who's coming. This is Joe Green. You know, we call this the Joe Green ramp, don't you? As you invented the ramp, and everybody thanks you. Perfect. Last year's class of 2025, the great defensive back, Eric Allen. This man was a 12-time Pro Bowl offensive lineman from the Minnesota Vikings, Randall McDaniel. This man was a member of the 1980s All-Decade Team, a cornerback for the Patriots and the Raiders, Mike Haynes.
Great to see you. Love you being here.
A two-time Super Bowl champion, another defensive back, this time from the Denver Broncos, Steve Atwater. This man played 11 seasons for the old San Diego Chargers and did not have one holding penalty, apparently. And he's a heck of a lawyer. Ron Mix. That's true, huh? This man won 2 Super Bowls with the Green Bay Packers. Number 89, linebacker, Dave Robinson. This man played in Super Bowl 12 won the game with the Dallas Cowboys, wide receiver Drew Pearson. All this man did was lead the league in tackles twice. Middle linebacker from the Dolphins, Zach Thomas. One of the all-time great quarterbacks for 17 seasons in the NFL. We don't even count the CFL, but I do. Warren Moon. This is the first receiver that had over 14,000 yards receiving. And could he fly? The pride of Stanford University, James Lofton. You guys all know this guy. He played for, I think, 35 seasons for the Browns. Never missed a snap. Joe Thomas. A member of the 2000s All-Decade Team, the great center, Kevin Mawai. Aloha. This man built the Super Bowl champion from the general manager's chair, Ron Wolf. '03 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award winner, the great tackle from the Chiefs, Will Shields. They're one of the all-time great middle linebackers, member of the Big Blue Wrecking Crew, number 53, Harry Carson. Boy, we got middle linebackers coming out our ears, don't we? How about a two-time Super Bowl champion from the Chicago Bears, middle linebacker, Mike Singletary. How about 1995's Rookie of the Year in the NFL, running back, Curtis Martin. A member of last year's class of 2025, most touchdown receiving from a tight end in the NFL history, Antonio Gates. How about a Super Bowl champion running back? Oh, I can hear the buzz starting from here. How about Jerome Bettis? 'Cause 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 a three-time All-Pro selection from the Raiders, number 75, and the star of Fox Television, Howie Long. This man led the league in interceptions twice. Another great defensive back. This is Ty Law. Boy, I'm getting tired of these defensive backs. We got another one, a four-time Super Bowl champion, Mr. Mel Blount. A three-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, Richard Seymour. You know, there's only one number one in all these categories. He is the first Houston Texan member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, wide receiver Andre Johnson. And another number one. This guy is the first return specialist in NFL history to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, Devin Hester. And again, we got another number one, all-time leader in receptions, in yardage, and touchdowns, the great 49er, number 80, Jerry Rice. About an 11-time Pro Bowler from the Saints and the Chiefs. This is Willie Roaf. Thanks, Willie. This man played in 11 straight Pro Bowls. Another great offensive lineman, Jonathan Ogden. (1991's NFL MVP from the Buffalo Bills, the running back, Thurman Thomas. This man is a member of the 2010 All-Decades team, wide receiver from the Lions, with a great nickname of Megatron, Calvin Johnson. Also in the 2010 All-Decade team, linebacker, Patrick Willis. Super Bowl winning coach for the Indianapolis Colts, not Baltimore. How about, let's just say hi to Tony Dungy. two-time MVP of the NFL, the great quarterback for the Rams, Kurt Warner. Good to see you, man. How about another two-time NFL MVP and another quarterback? How about Steve Young? This man led the NFL in sacks in 2004. Defensive end with a great spin move, Dwight Freeney. In 1999's NFL Defensive Player of the Year, the one and only Warren Sapp. Any way you want. There's only one number one. There's another one of them. All-time leading rusher in the whole league, forever and ever, Emmitt Smith. '99's NFL Rookie of the Year, Edgerrin James. Don't. '2002 NFL Defensive Player of the Year from the Buccaneers, Derek Brooks. Raiders Super Bowl MVP from the Raiders, number 32, Marcus Allen. Super Bowl 20 MVP with the Chicago Bears and that great team of 1985, defensive end Richard Dent. How about playing 20 years in the league as a cornerback? That's what this man did. This is Darryl Green. Go that way. This man was 1975 Rookie of the Year in the NFL, linebacker Robert Brazile. This man was a three-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he goes by a couple of initials, LT. Lawrence Taylor. This man was a member of the New Orleans Saints Dome Patrol, linebacker Ricky Jackson. Either way, we all your fans. This man led the NFL in rushing 4 times. The great running back, number 28, Eric Dickerson. You're not marching? No, I'm not marching. Wait, hold on. Number 29, Eric Dickerson. There's one every year, right? We got a long way to go. This man, they say, invented the Lambeau Leap. From the Green Bay Packers, Leroy Butler. This man is the first guy to win 5 Super Bowls in NFL history, the great Charles Haley. Another cornerback who happened to be one of the greatest defenders in NFL history from the Cardinals, Aeneas Williams. (2000) NFL MVP with the Rams, and his number was number 28. Say hi to Marshall Faulk. Three-time Super Bowl champion with the Dallas Cowboys, the playmaker, wide receiver, Michael Irvin. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest football players of all time.
And keep it going for Dan Fouts. Dan, where are you going? Ladies and gentlemen, the returning class of 2026 is about to be introduced. Let's give a round of applause for Dan Fouts. You guys, that is incredible. Dan, take your seat amongst the gauntlet. Where are you going? He runs an out route as soon as he's done. We're moments away from seeing one of the greatest moments in sports when the class of 26 receives their first icon of being a pro football member of the Hall of Fame, the gold jacket. The jacket's going to be followed tomorrow by the unveiling of their bust at the enshrinement ceremony that's going to be hosted by, where's my buddy? Chris Berman's here tonight. Boomer's going to have you in his hands tomorrow. And later this fall, they'll get their Kay Jewelers Hall of Fame Ring of Excellence. But first, we have a special guest joining us here tonight. We're very close to giving out these jackets, but please welcome the Academy of Country Music nominated artist, songwriter, and New York Times and acclaimed filmed TV actor, J.T. Hodges, who's performing the song he wrote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all of its 387 members. It's called Canton is Calling. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the jacket ceremony, J.T. Hodges.
Gosh, gentlemen, it's once again such an honor, man. Brotherhood born in the mud, on a backyard field of sweat, tears, and blood. We're in a number one name. We became the greatest in the game. Hallelujah, Canton is calling. Hallelujah, take me home. Hear the voices singing a chorus all around, up and down that hall. We are the warriors on the wall. We are the legends of the fall. Behind the stories that we wrote, behind the glory not ours alone, see the men that gave it their all, just some backyard boys that love playing ball. Oh, hallelujah, Canton is calling. Hallelujah, take me home. Hear the voices singing a chorus all around, up and down that hall. We are the warriors on the wall. We are the legends of the fall. We are the warriors on the wall. We are the legends of the fall.
JT Hodges, everybody. Well done, sir. Who's ready to see some jackets get on some people's shoulders? I figured you would. So here's how it works. If you haven't been here before, if you've been here before, you know it, but just every enshrinee is going to walk down the gauntlet of this incredible returning class of Hall of Famers. They'll be met on stage to receive their gold jacket. And it only makes sense that after heading down the gauntlet of gold, our class members would receive their jacket from another Hall of Famer. Each enshrinee tonight has selected a Pro Football Hall of Famer that's returning to who inspired them in any way, shape, or form to present them with their gold jacket tonight. It's so cool. Break out your handkerchiefs, too, because it's really awesome. It's time now to start presenting new members into the Pro Football Hall of Fame with their gold jackets. And to help us glimpse the heart and spirit of this year's enshrinees, please welcome internationally acclaimed spoken word artist and transformative entertainer who's had performances spanning the White House, HBO, Sundance, and he's here tonight to premiere an original poem inspired by the collective legacy of tonight's class. Join me in welcoming back Steve Connell, please.
We love our counting stats, don't we? For example, all of the men in this class were on great teams. That is a stat you can count. But also, all of their teams were great because these men were on them, and that, my friends, is a stat you can count on. And yes, they went through 12 Super Bowls to get here, and yes, they played on teams that evoke fear and stunned silence, which is to say, this class, they boxed with giants and ran with high knees up hills with ghosts, and in the process, they stacked up a bunch of franchise and league records, a bunch of first evers, so many and very most. But if we are seeking to measure the measure of a man being measured for a gold jacket by the Pro Football Hall of Fame, those are not the correct stats, kids. See, the fact is, whenever the Hall is considering draft picks, I think the correct question to ask is, how hard did you go at every practice? When talking to men who merit GOAT status, I'm telling you the correct stat is not how many times they jumped up into action, but if they goosebumped up when named captain. These are the counting stats for a type of greatness very few will ever claim. And I know because in the 4 years I've been the official poet for the Hall of Fame, I've received a masterclass in greatness from the greatest of the game. I've learned how to take losses on the chin, how to tackle hardship head on and grin, stand strong with my brothers and win. I have learned that there is a difference between having teammates that try to build you and try to break you, between cultures that tear you down and cultures that shape you. And I think each member of this class understood that about the game. And I think that explains why they each talked with such reverence about their teammates. Because see, they knew the only way you're going to get in the zone and enter the dream state, attain mastery, turn a game into a masterpiece, and unlock beast mode is to embrace teamwork as the cheat code, perhaps. This is the difference between the bus and the bus. And explains why if you listen to the game, when the GOATs, when the game is discussed, they will tell you many excellent players will never make it to the Hall. Because, see, they think learning to play ball is about playing ball. But they are confused. See, playing ball is about the learning, which is why we grow when we win, and we grow more when we lose. And inside the learning is where we become strong, become better, and grow as men. That's why if we get it wrong, see, we stand up, ask questions, learn lessons, and go again. And the ones who get up with you, who get lifted when they lift you, they are the ones you want to play with, because, see, they want to learn how to focus our fire together and collectively burn. This is why Luke Kuechly got so angry in Pop Warner. This is what Adam, taught in the gym and learned up in his classes. This is what Roger, Drew, and Larry showed when they showed up and showed out in every practice. The varying techniques and tactics and approaches taught to them by their fathers and their coaches, what all of them discovered from their teammates and their brothers, what they were shown by their wives and their mothers, the wisdom whispered by the bus, the root of what was taught and discussed in every hot tub, locker room, and team bus. This is about us. Not dudes on the team, but teammates. Us working together, driving together, us pulling together, thriving together, us. See, when we lose together, we learn how to win. And when we win together, we learn how to celebrate. And when you do that, my friends, see, you don't just elevate football, you transcend it. You show the world what is possible, because when a team moves as one, as intended, they become unstoppable, but only if they are coached properly to understand the critical philosophy. You ain't stopping we. See, this is the locker room talk that they don't talk enough about. This is the Hall of Fame philosophy as taught to me by the newest rookies to join the greatest team to ever play the game. The bus room tonight, it's going to be a classic. Men of the 2026 draft class, it's time to come get your gold jackets. No matter how unreal it may seem, all of life is practice. Welcome to the team.
Drafted 32nd overall in 2001, Drew Brees had plenty of doubters, but doubt was never a match for his work ethic. In 2004, Brees led the Chargers to their first playoff appearance in nearly a decade, earning Comeback Player of the Year honors along the way. A shoulder injury the following season created career uncertainty. Looking for a fresh start, he chose New Orleans, a city in search of.
Coming back the other way. Henderson down the right sideline, got a block from Brees. 5-10, he's in. Touchdown, Saints. Drew Brees threw an outstanding block, a double reverse.
Brees was named the 2006 Walter Payton Man of the Year as he and the Saints gave New Orleans reason to believe. And tonight, Brees led the Saints to their first Super Bowl title.
Here's the throw to Shockey, and it's a touchdown.
And was named the game's MVP.
The New Orleans Saints have won their first Super Bowl championship.
Twice voted as AP Offensive Player of the Year, and to 13 Pro Bowls. The quarterback nobody was sure about became the standard everyone else against.
Remember how we got here today? Because we smelled greatness. Because we wanted to be special.
It's time. It is time. The time. Obvious for years that this man, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Drew Brees. Keep it going for the man second in career and touchdowns. We could keep listing his stats for every minute it takes for him to get to the stage, and we'd still have more to read. The 12th member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame to play with the fleur-de-lis on the side of his helmet. And tomorrow he will see his bust revealed in a stadium named after Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints. The 5th Purdue Boilermaker to make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. A second-round selection who went from San Diego to New Orleans, where he'll never need a restaurant reservation again the rest of his life. The president of the Hall of Fame, Jim Porter, and the commissioner of the National Football League, Roger Goodell, are waiting at the stage as Drew Brees is hugging with the gauntlet. And the last hug will be reserved for the man who's going to step onto the stage and present him with that jacket. You may have heard of him before. His name is Joe Montana. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage here to get his jacket, this Pro Football Hall of Famer, Drew Brees. All right, Drew, here comes the jacket moment. And the coach, Joe Montana, is going to put it on. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Brees. Go on up there. Here comes his family. Four kids, wife Brittany. Hall of Fame moment for the Brees family. Come on, smile, kids. Your dad's a Hall of Famer.
Rushing, receiving, blocking. Defenses never knew which Roger Craig they were getting. All they knew was that he was coming. A key component to the San Francisco 49ers dynasty of the 1980s. Craig's versatility gave Bill Walsh's West Coast offense options not seen before. 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in one season. Nobody had done it before. And only two others have done it since Craig accomplished it in 1985. In Super Bowl 19, he set a new game record with 3 touchdowns.
Touchdown for San Francisco. Dropping it off short to Craig to the 10. 5 touchdowns.
Craig gained 172 yards from scrimmage and played a crucial role in the 49ers game-winning drive in Super Bowl 23.
I feel like I'm in heaven right now. You know, it's my second Super Bowl title.
A 3-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowler, and a member of the NFL's all-decade team of the 1980s. It did not matter where he lined up or what he was labeled. Today, we call Roger Craig a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's right. Yeah, you call. That's right. Yeah, you call him a Hall of Famer. That's right. You call him a Hall of Famer now. The long overdue moment for Roger Craig has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for 2026 Hall of Famer, Roger Craig. The number of times I've been asked, why isn't Roger Craig in the Hall of Fame? I've lost track. Year after year, the wait for the first 1,000 receiving yard player in the history of the National Football League, who walked so many others who followed could run and catch and score. The question of why isn't Roger Craig in the Hall of Fame is now over. No more does Roger and his family have to hear about it. No more do the San Francisco 49ers have to wonder why somebody so talented and so great is not enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's time to put that all to rest as Roger Craig makes his way through the gauntlet and steps on up to finally receive what he deserves, a jacket from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And look who's there to award it. Ed DeBartolo Jr. A Niners moment for the ages. Roger Craig, it is finally time. The wait is over. Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer. Here comes the Craig family. They've been waiting a long time too. Soak it in, everybody. Roger Craig is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Roger Craig and his lovely family having their Canton moment. Beautiful.
That was a bad man. That's a bad man.
Legend has it that Larry Fitzgerald had more career tackles than drop passes. Selected third overall by the Arizona Cardinals in the 2004 NFL Draft, Fitzgerald led the team in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns as a rookie. The next season, Fitzgerald led the league with 103 receptions, earning his first Pro Bowl selection. When it came to big games, the Cardinals were in good hands.
Not a flea flicker. Warner looks to throw. Fitzgerald down to the 10, down to the 5, touchdown.
And in the biggest game, Fitzgerald delivered.
And here is Warner throwing a jump ball. Fitzgerald makes the catch. Fitzgerald with the touchdown. He throws over the middle. There's Fitzgerald. He's down to the 40, out of the 30, out of the 20. They will not catch him. 10-5, touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald has done it again. 64 yards.
The co-recipient of the 2016 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, an 11-time Pro Bowler, and a member of the NFL 100 all-time team. These accolades aren't myth. These are the facts of Larry Fitzgerald.
It is time. There is one of the all-time greats. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way through the second and passing yards all time. Ladies and gentlemen, 2026 Hall of Famer, Larry Fitzgerald. The halls of Canton gain another Walter Payton Man of the Year. His accolades on the field surpassed only by his humanity. Hugging his quarterback right there. The quarterback-receiver combination in Arizona are enshrined forever. Kurt Warner hugging it out. He wore number 11. Both numbers individually representing the number of ballots it took for Larry Fitzgerald to get in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just one ballot. Everybody wanting a piece of Larry. Why not? One of the most beloved receivers to ever lace him up at every level of the game. And when I mentioned earlier that there might be no dry eyes in the house, we're about to see this moment. Some of Larry's first moments on an NFL field was as a ball boy for the Minnesota Vikings. His dad, Larry Sr., off of whom he is a chip off the old block, was covering the Vikings, and his son became a ball boy for the team. And now he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And stepping to the stage to give him his jacket is one of those Vikings receivers for whom Larry was a ball boy. Everybody in this place has heard of him. He's the Ohio State's Chris Carter. This is going to be quite the moment. Here he comes, the third member of the five-player Canton class of 2026 to get his jacket tonight. He's getting ready for his moment. You've already seen Drew Brees get his jacket and Roger Craig get his. It's now time for Larry Fitzgerald to step to the stage where he finds a receiver who he once was a ball boy for. It's Chris Carter hugging it out with Larry. All grown up. This relationship started out when Larry was just a kid. Now it's a Hall of Famer welcoming the ball boy into the Canton class of 2026 into the same bus room. It's time for Larry Fitzgerald to get his jacket. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Fitzgerald's the Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Sr. is looking down with a big smile. Congratulations to the great Larry Fitzgerald.
Right here! Hey, I'm going. You go there. Tight!
Impeccable situational. No accident. Naturally gifted, Kuechly elevated his game by putting in the work. AP Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012 and AP Defensive Player of the Year the very next season.
Your first in cut, just match him.
Kuechly made his teammates better, then went out and made the play.
Has time, slings it, and it's intercepted. Kuechly has it. He's going to go into the house. Wilson will drop back to pass, looking left. He's under pressure. Throws to the middle. Intercepted by Kuechly. Middle of the field. Now to the right. Touchdown, Carolina.
From the 12, first down, intercepted. Luke Kuechly to the 10, to the 5, touchdown.
First or second team All-Pro in 7 of 8 seasons, and a place on the NFL's All-Decade team of the 2010s. The time is now, and the place is Canton. Luke Kuechly carries the keep-pounding spirit into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, that's right. It took him just 8 years of playing for everyone to realize that this is a Hall of Famer, and we're about to make it official. Put your hands together for the man making his way through the gauntlet, Luke Kuechly. Just 8 seasons of playing, but he surpassed 100 tackles in all 8 of them. That's how you become a member of the All-Decade team of the 2010s. That's how you become a 35-year-old man going through the gauntlet at a Pro Football Hall of Fame jacket ceremony. Only Gale Sayers, younger than this man, to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Years of runway in front of him as a returning Hall of Famer. And so richly deserved for him, his family, and the Carolina Panthers keep pounding fan base and franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, making his way through the gauntlet and hugging it out, the last member of the gauntlet who's going to walk on the stage in his jacket, the 2024 Hall of Famer Julius Peppers, walking on the stage with Luke Kuechly. All right, it's time. Panther taking a jacket off. Panther helping another put the jacket on. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Kuechly is a Hall of Famer. The Kuechly family coming up. Generations of them. Put your hands together for a Hall of Fame and his beautiful family. Four down, one to go. In the TV business, we call the last item on the rundown the kicker. And that's about to be the same for the jacket ceremony tonight. One last round of applause for Luke Kuechly, everybody.
The most points scored and the most field goals made in NFL history. But the record book only tells half the story of Adam Vinatieri's Hall of Fame career. Undrafted and unafraid, Vinatieri was clutch from day one. Bright lights, brutal weather, it didn't matter. The South Dakotan had ice in his veins.
The crowd will tell you whether he makes it or not. Set to go. Snap. Ball down. Kick is up.
And when the clock ticked down in Super Bowl 36, Vinatieri delivered, kick-starting a dynasty.
Field goal try for the win. It's good. It's good. It's good. And the New England Patriots have won Super Bowl 36.
2 years later, Super Bowl 38, same pressure, same result. With 3 Super Bowl wins and a legacy cemented in New England, Vinatieri became the final piece needed to bring a championship to Indianapolis. The record book lists him at the top, but the moments say Adam Vinatieri was much more.
That's right. That's right. Nobody scored points in the history of the NFL than this man. Kickers are Hall of Famers too. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Vinatieri. Getting set for his Hall of Fame gold jacket moment. He's like the mailman of the NFL through rain or sleet or snow, dark of night. This man always delivered, which is why he is making his way to the stage to get a gold jacket as the final member of the class of 2026 to get one this evening to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Very few things can unite Patriots and Colts fans. Adam Vinatieri certainly is one of the exceptions. Almost the final gauntlet walkthrough being completed as he makes his way to the stage. His selected jacket presenter, a longtime architect of championship teams in Indianapolis, is waiting in Bill Polian. One last jacket to be presented tonight. And then we've got a quintet of jackets being awarded, being complete. Talking to Jan Stenerud, the first to get in as a pure kicker. The latest is about to step to the stage. It's up and it's good. Adam Vinatieri. It is time. Adam Vinatieri, the man used to splitting uprights, is about to have a jacket splitting his shoulders. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Adam Vinatieri. A round of applause for the Vinatieris celebrating Adam's enshrinement. Before we get the entire class back on stage, I would like to just ask you to get your programs out because it's about time to give away the Anne Marine Fine Jewelry and Gifts 2026 Authentic American Eagle Gold Coin Pendant Necklace to one lucky winner. So get that program out to page 3 as the gauntlet makes its way out of the arena. It is time for one last, or the first time, I would imagine. They're all celebrating here, but put your hands together as we bring to the stage collectively as a group wearing Hall of Fame jackets for the first time. Put your hands together for the Canton class of 2026. Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, and Adam Vinatieri, all with their new, fresh garments. Turn around, gents. Drew Brees, Roger Craig, Adam Vinatieri, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly immortalized together. And before you all go and leave the Gold Jacket dinner, look on page 3 of your program, everybody. And the winner of the Anne Marine Fine Jewelry and Gifts, if you have program number 726, wave your program. (726). All right. Keep waving your program. Someone's going to give you a nice parting gift. I'm Rich Eisen. Thanks for being part of the jacket dinner, everybody. Enjoy tomorrow's ceremony. Chris Berman will have you the rest of the way at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium for the enshrinement.
The Gold Jacket presentation is wrapped up for the night, but tomorrow's the big day. The enshrinement ceremony begins at noon from Canton, Ohio. We're looking forward to hearing Luke Kuechly's speech as he enters the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Until then, you can watch a 30-minute on-demand special on Kuechly's career right here on WFMY+. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.